We're going to start this hour with the man who now has one of the biggest jobs at one of the most famous clubs in rugby league. The St George Illawarra Dragons have named their new CEO starting in June, but on the line now for a bit of an early chat. Tim Watsford, congratulations, Tim. Thanks for coming along on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Really exciting both for myself and my family. Can't wait to get the feet under the desk and work with arguably the biggest brand, not only in NRL but Australian sport more generally. Can't wait.
We've got quite a few questions which you're happy to answer from our listeners, so we'll get to those. But one of the ones that I posed this morning, and you don't start till June, so I know you've got a bit of time there, but have you thought about the first order of business, the first day on the job?
Yeah, look, I think the dialogue with the board over the past couple of months and kind of through the process to date has definitely been around, driving connection and long-term kind of commercial success from the front office. So, look, I'll step my way through over the coming months and make sure I get to as many stakeholders in the ecosystem. So, come that June date with the feet well and truly under the desk, I'm ready to go. Put it that way.
You've been in and around professionally and also around, I guess, from a fan perspective from rugby league for a long, long time. So you know where St George Illawarra sit in the scheme of things in the history of the game. So therefore, I guess you also know the expectations that come with this. Do they weigh on you?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and just going back, passion with rugby league right way through as a child, and obviously working professionally with Andrew and the team at head office for 4 or 5 years, and I think with great responsibility comes great kind of success, and this is an opportunity for me to grab with both hands and like I said, take probably arguably the biggest brand in the league, ideally to the next level. So big job, big club, big brands, plenty of expectations. It's a lot of passionate fans and a lot of passionate people in and around the club already have reached out and have been very kind and supportive, and I can't wait to get in and have a decent crack and drive some success.
Do you think that it would have been a daunting task to take on, even with your experience in major events at Supercars, for instance, up there in the Northern Territory? Do you reckon that this would have been a daunting task had you not had any rugby league experience? Because you know how intricately, how this game really can be.
Mm-hmm. I think Matt. I think you're bang on. I think rugby league is a brutal game on and off the field. I'm not going to lie about that. And I think the game itself is intricate. I like that word. I'm using it. So I think where I've stepped through my career to date, in particular, learning what I needed to in both unfamiliar and familiar environments within the sport administration landscape has set me up incredibly well. I think coming to Supercars a couple of years ago in particular and driving kind of the commercial success and momentum that those that are around Supercars can see is having now, and the fruits will be bared into 25 and 26. It's given me all the tools to drive great success for the club going forward.
Supercars is a dog-eat-dog world, isn't it? And as Chief Operating Officer on there. But the other thing is it's a sticker-driven world. It's a sponsor-driven world. And the commercial realities of what you would have learned at Supercars, how do you translate that and transfer that into rugby league?
I like that, sticker-driven world. No, it is, and I think that my skill set is very much in the commercial sport landscape, all the way through from rugby union right back in the day, to be honest, to NRL to Supercars has been kind of how I attack a situation and drive best outcomes, particularly in a commercial sense, for the head office or an organisation. And probably a strength I bring and have brought to motorsport particularly is an ability to look at things a little bit differently. So key projects that are relatable to NRL is, building and driving the process of getting Magic Round off the ground, looking at different ways to play Origin in different parts of the country to drive exposure and fan bases and revenues. So I've applied that in my trade in Supercars, and you've probably seen some key projects being ticked off, particularly the last 12 months in Perth and across the ditch in New Zealand. And I can't wait to kind of look at the blank page approach to St George Illawarra and try and drive some great success that potentially hasn't been looked at before, and that's probably where my skill set lies, and can't wait to apply my trade, so to speak.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the club itself. Do you have a connection, or have you had a conversation with Shane Flanagan?
I have, yeah. Shane and I connected yesterday, and it's all but briefly, to be quite frank. The process is obviously a confidential one to date with the board, but him and I had a good discussion yesterday and can see his passion and direction, and I'm really excited to kind of jump on board and support him and Sam Bremner in the women's program to drive success. I was very buoyant driving home last night, to be honest, Matt, and kind of really looking forward to sticking in and giving him all the tools that he needs to bring that long-awaited success.
Okay, let me get into the questions. We asked our listeners, Tim, to feed us questions, and they've come in. So we'll try to get through as many as you can. Peterson on the Twitter feed said, "What's your vision long term for the club besides success on the field, and how do you plan on building the Dragons back up?"
Good question. I'll probably refer to one of the greats. Jack Gibson always said, "Winning starts in the front office." We have a great existing foundation at the Dragons. It's my job to absolutely supercharge that. Commercial success breeds football success. Dragons is, as I mentioned, one of the strongest brands in Australian sport, and I think that's an important thing to say. Some might think that's kind of hubris, but it's true. We have 500,000 rusted-on fans who are about the club, and my job is to deliver for them and deliver them first and foremost.
Okay, another one on Twitter. Will you do a full review of the football system, including head of football? How does the CEO into the football department gig go?
Starts early, doesn't it, Matt? Look, Shane's got our program humming. I think everyone can see the progress made in 2025, and the pre-season or to date has been very strong. It'll only get better. I'm looking forward to, as I mentioned, working closely with Flano to offer him every bit of support he needs to win up the comp. That's it. Clear as the direction.
Okay. Stadiums. Obviously, no matter where you are, in which position you are in rugby league, these come along, and it doesn't really matter, I think, whether or not you've got a shiny brand new stadium, you still get questions about it. So there's a bunch of questions, but mostly people want to know, what are you going to do about the capacity there? What happens with the seats for the fans?
Yeah, look, you're right. Having the privilege back in the days at the NRL of working on the stadium plan for North Queensland and Allianz, so completely know my way around how a stadium operates. But look, all clubs, and particularly Dragons, are looking to improve our facilities. Without stating the obvious, local council owns and runs Cogra. It's an important part of our history, our present and future, and I'm determined to offer the fans the best experience possible. I do have to say though, Matt, there are a few better afternoons on the hill at a packed Cogra, I must say, and we'll work with everyone to ensure that continues. Okay.
There is a direct football question here. I don't know how you answer this one. This is from Brinky, who says, "Can you resolve the Francis Molo situation?" That's pretty much it.
Look, I'm not overly across the intricacies. I am aware the club is working with RLPA, NRL, and obviously Frank's legal team. I'm sure an outcome is not too far away, but if not, come June, that'll be first point of business to get that resolved.
Okay, Simon has texted this one in, and there's a bit of a background to it. He says he's been a Dragon supporter for nearly 50 years. The last 15 years, he says, so many Dragon supporters have been disenchanted. He speaks about the promise of a super club, which is obviously built well before your time, and the merger with the Steelers. Simon says, basically the question here is, he thinks that the club is on the right track, but how are you, as CEO, planning to engage with all the fans? What does that look like on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, look, really good question, and a really topical point of discussions with the board. Look, they've been amazing kind of through the process. I'll answer that as clear as possible. It's connection, Matt, and it's looking to engage and drive outcomes with all stakeholders in the tent and the ecosystem. It's a huge footprint. We know that. Arncliffe to Batemans Bay and everything in between. Cracking juniors program, pathways. It's a big club, and I think the most important part is to drive that connection. Not only at a footy game, as I mentioned on the hill at Cogra, but everything in between. I think there's a lot of work. I've got a clear mandate to drive more fans, more members, more viewers, more participation, etc., which are obviously the buzzwords and metrics in a football club. But it all boils down, in my view, to be out with the broader fan base and key stakeholders in the club to ensure they're listened to, heard, and act on what is in the best interest of the footy club going forward.
Broader questions. If you're in the position officially as of now, you'd be over in Vegas as part of the CEO's conference. So you'd be looking at the Vegas experience. Have you got any thoughts? I mean, you've worked internationally with supercars events as well, and you've worked internationally with NRL and State of Origin, so domestically as well in previous years. What are your thoughts about Vegas, and what do you think about the Dragons for Vegas?
Oh, look, first and foremost, full credit to Andrew and Peter for getting it off the ground. What an entertainment product. And, going back to my time at NRL, and we'll throw around the idea of Magic Round. Different was always something that we wanted to achieve back then. I can see that mandate hasn't changed for head office. From a club perspective, I think you want to play on the biggest stage, right? And I know it's been kind of noted publicly, the desire for the Dragons to be over there once formally in the seat. Although I will state the discussions have already started from a board level to me, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But look, there's absolute desire. Dragons deserve to be on the biggest stage. That's my job to make sure they play in the biggest games and they're on show to the world. What better way to push the mighty Red V brand into new markets like the States. So, look, absolutely an agenda item. Hope the team over there get as much information written down that I can digest on their return, and looking forward to having those discussions with Andrew and the team at head office when I get in the seat later on.
And do you have any personal views on expansion for rugby league?
Yeah, back to probably my point on different. It's incredible what they're kind of doing in PNG, isn't it? Quite an investment both from the government and the game. Look, it's growing eyeballs, it's growing the footprint. It's to the benefit of the game more broadly. Means we work harder in clubland, no doubt. I'm completely aware of that. The sponsorship dollar will get thinner, and our drive to make outcomes will get harder. But look, full credit to once again Andrew and Peter for not going backwards. Definitely going forwards, and looking forward to kind of working with them around the future holds.
Yeah, cool. And just a final one, Tim, the Tim Watsford that the Dragons fans and I guess rugby league fans now are going to get to know more. What else interests you away from the business side of things? Are you a golfer? Do you get out there? If the family, what's the story?
Mate, I'll be honest, I've grown up by the beach my entire life, so I'm looking forward to settling into the Wollongong community. 5 years in Darwin where you looked at the water, you couldn't swim due to crocodiles, kind of put me in the backward step. But no, mate, I've got a beautiful young family. I can't wait to get into the community right across kind of Cogra and the Wollongong area and call it home. I'm one to be out and about. You won't not miss me. I love to be at games and footy, and I don't mind a swing of a golf club between you and I. So happy to have a hit. But no, mate, rugby league's my passion. Can't wait to really embed myself into the community and have some fun. First and foremost, that's what it's all about, right?
All right. Well, the job doesn't officially start until June the 2nd. So what are we? Not even in March yet. The news came out yesterday. We reached out to you, and you were good enough to jump on the phone this morning. So really appreciate it. Thanks on behalf of the Dragons fans in particular and the listeners for answering those questions. And I'm sure we'll continue to chat once you get into the position there. So congratulations again, and thanks for your time this morning.
Good on you, Matt. Thanks so much. Look forward to working with you guys into the future.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.